everybody, John12 back here again with another video, and I'm back here again to basically shit and moan and basically yell at the world and basically give you my personal thoughts on Goku versus Superman or Superman versus Goku, whichever way you want to render it, whatever. Part 2 rematch, the rematch of legends. Yeah, that. But anyways, essentially, I was gonna sit here and be realistically honest and, review it as like a regular reviewer, but I couldn't do that. I tried, but, to have a good, sporty kind of feel about it and be nice, like the average, everyday, neighborhood-friendly John12. You know that John12? The one you like to watch and listen to? No, not that guy. This is the asshole version who just wants to shit on all your hopes and dreams kind of John12, which is essentially what I'm going to do right now. Anyways, if you were living under a rock over the past, fucking couple days, over the weekend, realistically, essentially ScrewAttack had their live event of Goku vs. Superman 2, the rematch of legends, apparently. And I was never going to see it because of how much of a bad taste the first fight left. Now, before I get any further, I want to make it perfectly clear to everyone who's listening, this is my personal thoughts. You don't have to share them. You don't have to even agree with them. The point is that I just wanted to rant for at least, an hour, and basically give you my personal thoughts on that fight. And also keep in mind, I am a fan of Superman, and I'm just as much as I am a fan of Goku. I love both characters. I'm a huge fan of DC, and I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. So it doesn't really matter who wins, because at the end of the day, I love both characters. The only thing I had a problem with the first fight is that they completely lowballed Goku's powers, and they got majority of his fucking powers and abilities, basically his stats, wrong. I mean, ask pretty much every single Dragon Ball Z fan on YouTube or in the internet in general, majority of them would tell you that most of the stuff they got was wrong, and they completely miscalculated a lot of stuff, and they just lowballed Goku. I mean, granted, could he have won even if they realistically gave him the right stats? I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't even care at the end of the day, because I know which way fans would go with it. Oh, you can't beat Superman. I get that. He's the Superman, regardless if you love him or hate him, he's the definition of an OP character. It's unrealistic that anyone could ever beat him. Even when he dies, he doesn't stay dead forever, because, they have to bring him back for another continuity, so that's the general gist of Superman, the Man of Steel. That being said, the only real reason as to why I was going into this fight, to watch it in general, was to see how they could have ever, gotten the stats for Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan right. Because at the end of the day, there's not really anything known about these transformations that Goku has that could ever justify this fight. And they were going to use New 52. So I really wanted to see how this fight would go, because as of all of us know, if you're a DC reader or a relatively simplistic Superman reader, you would know that New 52 is definitely the most low-balled Superman in general. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's tons of other alternate versions of Superman who suck and are generally poor and super unpowered, but New 52 is relatively the, most current, low-balled kind of Superman, especially if you consider the fact of how low-balled he is now, seeing as how after Convergence, coming from a dude who can fucking fly from the Earth to space in less than a second, has to ride around in a fucking motorcycle because of how low-balled powerful he is. But that being said, that was the main reason as to why I was going into this fight. I wanted to see how these assholes, and yes, I'm using that term for relatively describing these guys, as to how they could have ever used these transformations into this fight. And lo and behold, they completely didn't even use the transformation in this fight. I mean, yes, if you look at the fight closely, Goku does transform into a Super Saiyan God and a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, but they don't really ever even tell you how they match up together. I mean, granted, ScrewAttack and specifically their death battles have a large audience, because a lot of people don't really care about the fight or even care about the outcome or who wins. They really like how ScrewAttack pretty much break down the characters and show you what their powers, abilities are, and how they match up together. That was the big fun for a lot of fans. But with this fight, They don't really even give you the fucking, matchups. All they give you is like rehashed versions of what they did last time, but just cut in half, and then they just, relatively shoehorned new transformations in there, like, oh hey, yeah, New 52, he has a Super Flare Nova thingamajig, and Super Saiyan Goku, now he's a god. And that's pretty much it. That's the gist of how they break down their new powers. And it's so, it's so juvenile the way they did it, and it was so just, come on, you could have done a little bit better. I mean, granted, doing this fight in general was pointless because we don't know anything about Super Saiyan God. I mean, the best scenario for them to ever justify using God, Goku, is essentially like, unless they fucking got Toriyama out of his hobbit hole, wherever the fuck that is in Japan, and got him on a webcam and be like, hey, Toriyama, how the fuck does God Goku work? How does his powers work? Can you please justify us using this? And then he would just rehash, some kind of bullshit answer like he usually does in his interviews. Then I would be like, okay, at least you did your research. But they didn't really do anything. All they really say is, yeah, Goku has new transformations. That's pretty much the general gist. So, of course, going into the fight, I already knew, oh, this is going to be bullshit. So, yeah, they go into the fight. They do their usual, spiegel of, they go to their fights. They pretty much just rehash the same thing they did the last fight. Goku continuously transforms and then becomes Super Saiyan God. Superman makes fun of him. He becomes Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. Superman makes fun of him again. And then the end of the fight, which is, pretty much the slowest and shortest fight I have ever seen in a Goku versus Superman fight. I mean, I'm just saying, at least with the first one, I can respect what they did because at least they put the time and duty to fucking justify this fight. But with the second one, it was so just, I mean, I don't even want to compliment the animation. I mean, yes, that's the main factor as to why people are going into it, because let's face it, the majority of the internet is stupid and they're just oh, colors, yeah. Fuck you and your colors. I fucking want to see a justified fight. I want to see why you picked to do a part 2, a rematch of Legends, which wasn't even a rematch of anything. It was pretty much just, hey, Goku has new transformations, and the fans are all butthurt, so they're like, hey, do a part 2. So, okay, how about this? How about instead of doing a part 2 and putting the time and quality into a fight, how about I get Goku's ass and get a purple dildo and shove it up his ass? That's pretty much the general gist of this fight. It's not really justified. It's just a fucking raping of a character, a childhood hero of mine that they just raped. So at the end of the day, you can tell I'm obviously not a big fan of this rematch. I personally don't give any credit to them. I mean, yeah, animation looked cool, but it just felt like a Michael Bay ripoff. This fight was so, and I don't want to offend people because that's the last thing I want to do. If you were offended over the course of this fucking rant, but I'm sorry, but I have to speak the truth. Moses style. But at the end of the day, it's the equivalence in how shitty this fight is. The only way I can really, depict how shitty it is, it's kind of like if Michael Bay, yeah, not the Michael Bay who directed The Rock, no, not that Michael Bay, the shitty Michael Bay who directed all those shitty Transformers movies, yeah, that Michael Bay. It's kind of like if they took Michael Bay and had him direct, if he was paid a shit ton of money he doesn't deserve, and was directing a live action Goku versus Superman fight with all the Transformers CGI awesomeness, but instead of justifyingly doing it justice, he just basically did Mark Wahlberg as Superman fighting Shia LaBeouf as Son Goku and having that be the fight, and it was all half-assed and super continuity, illogically stupid. That's how terrible this rematch was. That's how equivalently despicable this fight was in the way that I can justifiably, and I'm not even speaking correctly anymore, that's how fucking pissed I am at how it depicts in my mind. So yeah, I really did not like this fight. They obviously didn't do Goku justice, which I really was, I already knew that was going to happen. I mean, when I did my predictions fight, if you go back and listen to it, I did state that more than likely ScrewAttack is going to do the same thing again because it's Superman. I mean, Superman is OP, which I was really hoping that wouldn't happen because, I mean, they were using New 52. Let's get into the transformations thing. I already ranted about the Goku thing. Now there's Superman. New 52 Superman is significantly weaker than Goku at this point in time. But when they justify Superman winning again, it's almost like they were using the same Superman they used last time to this Superman, which are two completely different continuities. I mean, like, you would think with Superman using the New 52 Superman outfit that would mean that they would be using that specific Superman. But no, it's just a costume. It's just a costume. That doesn't even fucking mean anything. They could have just had Superman wearing a fucking flamingo costume, and it's the same fucking concept. It's just a costume change. He's basically the same Superman and the same power and abilities. So when they say, like, oh, winner, Superman, here's why. Because, hell, he can go from point A to point Z at less than fucking a second. And, like, he can push planets to... Dude, that was the last Superman. This is New 52. New 52 Superman can't do the same thing that fucking Superman can. What were you thinking? What were you doing? And not to mention, the Superman as we know him now, he can't even fly perfectly anymore. He has to ride around in a fucking Harley Davidson. In a fucking motorcycle. So yeah, completely bullshit. It's just... when going into this fight, I knew it was going to be bullshit. Like, it gave me ball cancer, which is why I didn't even want to see it. But I did see it, and at the end of the day, I'm pissing out blood. That's how this fucking fight makes me want to feel and talk. So at the end of the day, I don't know. It's just... And I got tons of comments on my predictions fight, like, oh, the rematch is going to be better. Oh, yeah. Oh, the rematch. Why would they do a rematch if they were just going to have the same outcome? Superman's going to lose. Yeah, thanks for making my hopes get all fucking tangled up and making my emotions all fucked. You know, I should have stuck with my gut feeling and not seen this fight because I knew in my gut it would happen the same way. They would just have Superman win because, let's face it, it's just bullshit. It's a bullshit fight. From conception to now, it's a bullshit rematch. You can't justify this fight because we don't know anything about Goku's God Ki. We don't know anything about his God transformations. And even all through the fight, they even bashed Goku's transformations. Oh, Super Saiyan, God Super Saiyan. What a mouthful. It's like, yeah, we know that, Jesus. Come up with a new joke that's fucking actually funny, you asshole. So at the end of the day, I'm not a huge fan of this rematch. I was never a fan of this rematch from day one. They should have never even done a rematch. I mean, like, they should have just kept the fight the way it was. Because even though I wasn't a fan of the first fight, at least I can sit back and be like, okay, well, at least you did your job. At least you fucking pleased the fans with an interesting, colorful, animated fight. At least you did the work, or at least somewhat work. I can justifiably just say, like, okay, it was good. I enjoyed it. I was relatively entertained by it. Here you go. There you go. That's the fight. Hope you guys enjoyed. Fuck my childhood. There you go. But no, they had to do a rematch to just fuck you guys again because it's like, why not? Why not rape your childhood with a big old dick? Why not? It's not gonna hurt anybody except for the fucking thousands of anime fans on the fucking internet. So yeah, it was completely pointless. From day one, I knew it was a stupid fight. People wanted it. People really fucking wanted it because, like, oh, God Goku. It's completely pointless. God Goku, he should have just been, like, Kid Goku because, once again, a pointless fight. And New 52 Superman, they didn't even factor in the New 52. It was just a costume. It was a design they used. It wasn't even a purpose in having a New 52 costume. Once again, he could have just been wearing a flamingo costume because it was a pointless change. It was essentially the same thing done again, except a lot shorter and a lot shittier. So at the end of the day, I hated this fight. I really did not want to see it, but I did see it anyways because I just wanted to see how they would bullshit their way at explaining God Goku and New 52 Superman, but they didn't. If you go back and watch that fight, which of course I'm pretty sure you have if you're listening to my rant, if you listen to it, they basically just rehash what they did last time and basically just on a segue admit, just shoehorn like, oh yeah, God Goku has God powers and New 52 Superman has solar super flare whatever thingamajig. It's just bullshit. So at the end of the day, once again, I go back to my logo, which is I want to make a t-shirt of it and just put ScrewAttack's logo on it and just say, like, ScrewAttack should not be allowed to use anime characters. It's the truth. They should not be allowed to use anime characters because they don't use them properly. They don't give them justice. That's why from my last rant, I stated in my fucking video that the only person I would ever want to see do a Goku versus Superman fight is Aaron Schonke at fucking Bat Sun. He's the only person I want to see him do it, and I don't want to see these guys do it. They did it the first time, they fucked up, and they did it the second time, and it was pretty much just raping my eyes. So at the end of the day, I don't want to see ScrewAttack anymore. I'm not even going to watch another fight, unless something catastrophically amazing happens where they're like actually making an anime character win, and I don't even mean one of those minute thingamajigs. I'm talking about like a legitimate fight that means any kind of significant importance. I don't even want to even pretend that they even exist anymore, and I don't want to have this fight in my head anymore because it raped me in the ass, it raped me in the eyes, it raped me in the ears. My childhood is raped. They should have just threw in, fucking Superman Prime again, because it was just completely illogically pointless. And I didn't like the fight. I don't want to see a third one. Rematch of Legends. Bullshit tagline. Super Saiyan God completely misused because can't even use it. And New 52, once again, wasn't even the New 52. It was just Superman once again. So at the end of the day, comment below, let me know what your personal thoughts are on it. I know this was a pretty long rant, lengthy, and fucking full of misused words and curse words and, profanity and so on and so forth. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to offend Superman fans. I don't want to offend fans who like ScrewAttack or even like that rematch. If you like the rematch, awesome. I'm not saying you have to dislike it like me. I'm just saying that I personally didn't like it for various reasons, which I've explained. And they should never have done it. That's my personal feeling. I said that from day one. They should never have done a rematch. It was completely pointless, and I was proved right. It was a pointless fight because they did the same exact thing they did last time, except it was a lot shorter and a lot shittier. So, comment below, let me know what you personally thought about the fight. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you fucking care about my rant? What were your personal thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, keep in mind that, once again, I am a fan of Superman and I'm a fan of Goku. I don't care who wins. The point is that I want a good fight that's good. They didn't give me a good fight. They gave me a bullshit rehash of what they did last time. The only difference was that they had costume design changes. That's the extent of the change of this rematch. It was pointless. So, yeah, that's why I'm gigantically disappointed. So, let me know what you personally thought. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, although I'm pretty sure all the haters who just are despised by the consistent ranting I do will not, but if you did enjoy by some stretch of the imagination, please subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys enjoy. I really do. I really hope you guys enjoyed, because I really didn't want to sit here and rant, and I didn't want to offend anybody, because I'm pretty sure ScrewAttack, the people over there are good people. I'm pretty sure they're fine and dandy outside of, making these videos. I'm pretty sure, but they should have never done a rematch. It was completely pointless, and I was proven right. It was a pointless rematch. It was pretty much like, it's just like how I said, it's like the only purpose they had into just doing this fucking rematch was because of fan requests. I'm pretty sure that was the only reason. They even kind of flat out say it in the fight, where it's like, out of consistent bitching from the fans of like, oh, now that Goku's a god, how is the fight going to go now? It's like, I'm telling you, it was a pointless fight. It was just completely and utterly, pointless. So that's just my overall, answer to this fight. I thought it was pointless, and I didn't like it. And if you actually did like it, and you were entertained and you enjoyed it, then kudos to you. I hope you had a great time, but I did not. So at the end of the day, I hope you guys enjoyed, and this has been John 12.